Welcome to another episode of Haunting the Haunted podcast. This is your host, David, with Joe and Sid. And today we are going to be talking about aliens. And this episode is all about Joe and Sydney. So go ahead and take it away, guys.
So,
All right.
yep,
Go
you're
ahead,
good.
Sid.
No, you're good. Trust me.
Okay. Well, we're talking about aliens. Of course, that coincides with paranormal activity. Also, I mean, what do we really know about these aliens or beings or whatever you want to call them?
Apparently a whole lot now because the Pentagon released a bunch of official information, all declassified documents now,
and
which is always super cool.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's there's so many. I guess it doesn't look like there's, from what I looked up. I was trying to find the types of aliens, and supposedly there's flatwood monsters, which is pretty cool. And then you got the usual grays. I guess they're gray skinned humanoids, usually 3 to 4 feet tall, hairless with large heads, black almond shaped eyes, nostrils without a nose, slits for mouths, no ears, and 3 to 4 fingers, including thumb.
So
Grays
Voldemort.
have been So the Greys have been predominant extraterrestrial beings for alleged alien contact since the 60s. So
That's a lot of pulp culture references to it too. I mean, there's a whole bunch of. We just watched this really cool documentary. They just released it within the last couple months or so, when this whole Pentagon thing came out, and the amount of information that they were able to put into this and actually release the records and the audio recordings and everything that they had. I mean, we'll crack into it a little bit more, but holy moly, dude, there's a whole lot out there.
I mean,
want to believe it's go ahead.
When you're like driving home from investigations or something like that in the middle of the night or whatever, and you see something in the sky, you don't even know what you're really looking at. I mean, could it be like a small meteor, or what? You don't know. I mean, it's really strange.
Outer space is strange in general. Like the stars that we're looking at, with the way the light travels, those stars could already be gone. They're already dead. The light's just now getting to us. I mean, some stars are that far away, and it's like the ocean. We've only explored so much of it. What else is out there?
Yeah.
Maybe the aliens are living in the ocean because it's something like 80% is not been explored or is completely unknown to us. What's on the bottom of the ocean floor, and then what's all the way up in the sky? You've got a little bit of everything, and you just don't know. Don't know.
Yeah. Actually, they have one alien type that, let's see. They got Nordic aliens also. And humanoids with stereotypical features, tall blonde hair, blue eyes, and have featured in several cases of contact. It is said they are from ancient Earth, but presenting themselves as ETs. I mean, it's a lot different from the movie, I would guess, right?
Just a little bit.
In the past, they moved from living on the surface to live underground around the Himalayas area after a natural event.
Yeah, no thank you. No thank you.
I mean, you never know.
Exactly, you don't know. Like, even the person on the corner of the street, like whoever's at the gas station, you don't know. Like, There's too many weird things out there and too many unknowns for you to be fully confident that you're talking to a normal human being at all times.
Yeah, and just like me, I've been studying the mounds out here in Newark and stuff like that, and a lot of strange things has happened. So, like I said, like car radio is turning on itself, or dowsing rods, like going off, just unexplained unexplained reasons why these devices or electronic electronics like radios and stuff like that go off. I mean, what is it from? I mean, it's I mean, people are saying that stuff like 9 foot giants like are there, like buried there or something like that. I mean, how do we know it's not like has something to do with alien life? Like, you
Well,
know what
there's
I mean?
even not even a mound, but it's a mountain face or canyons or a valley area, and it looks like a giant snake has just rested and fossilized there. Like the rock face looks a little bit too real for it to be a rock face. You just, again, you don't know. Like there's so many people that are convinced that the Egyptians were helped by getting alien help to make those pyramids. I got to go on a quick travel run because my laptop's about to die. So we're just
Okay.
gonna do it this way. We're gonna go on the run for a minute. But yeah, I mean, there's so many crazy things that you don't know. Like you don't know when your laptop's gonna die and you have to run upstairs. But,
Gets a tour of your house.
yeah, a quick one. My crime scene tape up my door, as it should be.
Nice.
My cats might scream at me, so just give me a second.
But
Package
we got
secured.
like I talked to a filmmaker, John Yost. He claims that when he was a child, he had something that was inserted into his arm from an alien being. Okay, and he had this like, of course, like not like I guess a childhood like superhero or something or whatever he had, something that we all, just like you see something, you're like, wow, that guy's cool or something like that.
Idol?
And well, I mean, he claims that it was an alien that looks like his like childhood uh
Childhood idol, like
childhood idol, yeah. And but my thing is, okay, when he told me that, I'm thinking, okay, so could it manipulate your mind to think it, to make you think that that is what you're looking at. You know what I mean?
it's
I
technology
believe it.
beyond our
I believe
comprehending.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you the like the pictures of the UFOs and stuff like that, they're like look like saucers or different shape, like a V shape or um, different things like that. I mean, I, it's kind of law for words, you know.
Well, that brings us to it was out in Oklahoma, I believe. It was back in the 1990s, and many people reported it all across the state. And it's this big thing that's blocking out light, but there are a bunch of lights in the front, and they're all
Yeah.
moving across the state, completely dead silent. But there was something there. And everyone saw it. It was on the news. People were recording it. People were out looking at it. And the mayor at the time was actually out there too. He was looking at these things. He was watching it. He's like, "What the hell is that?" And he's saying there was nothing to worry about. But when he went on a press conference, he actually called a national or a emergency meeting and to bring everyone together. And he made a big mockery out of it. He had his buddy come out dressed in an alien costume. He's like, "You guys take this way too seriously. It was nothing." And he still denies it to this day. But he was also on that documentary that I watched, and he's just the interviewer goes, Are you sure something wasn't said or done to make you change your stance like that? And he kind of got quiet, and his buddy had to answer, and he's like, we are in no way responsible or doing anything to do with that. And, what the hell? What what happened?
No,
And
no. Yeah.
and if you came out and said that, oh, I've been abducted, oh, I saw a UFO, oh, anything about aliens, you were made to be looked at as a mockery. No one believed you. You were made to be crazy. People put you on, talk shows, and then you were dragged through the mud. If you said that they were aliens, you were known to be crazy. However, now with the Pentagon releasing everything, it what do you do with that information? You've been taught your whole life that you were crazy, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is real." How do you? How can you go about that in your head? It's so crazy to me. And like even people that necessarily wouldn't believe, there's
Yeah, out
actually. Oops, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, out there in the West, they got like festivals and stuff where you dress up like aliens and stuff like that, and you go out to the desert. And basically, what you're doing is I believe what they do. I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know. I've never been way out west, but apparently, I can't remember. I don't know if that's in Vegas or it's somewhere in the desert, but they actually spend like, I don't know if it's a couple days or a week or whatever, but they spend days like out there dressed up like aliens and stuff like that, selling alien stuff. And I think it's in Vegas where they got stores out there where you could buy alien t-shirts and stuff like that. And it's really crazy. And I guess they hunt for these flying saucers, or they try to communicate with these beings. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but whatever.
I mean, my favorite thing was
That's some hardcore.
some
There's
good
some
stuff.
hardcore hunters.
Yeah, there was
Oh,
going.
it looks like it's fun actually.
Oh, I would do it. There's actually documents that were unsealed
Oh,
about these Air Force pilots, and they were actually their jets were scrambled during those Phoenix lights that happened, and their jets were scrambled. They flew off, and when they came back, they're actually are over the radio, and he's like, "I don't know what that was, but this pilot is shaking. He doesn't want to go anywhere. He is terrified." And my family, has a lot of military in it, and to hear an Air Force pilot be terrified and say, I don't know what that was.
yeah, yeah,
It's an alien.
yeah.
I like, how can you? And it wasn't just one pilot, it was multiple. And all these documents were sealed. All these 911 calls were sealed. Everything was sealed up until recently. And all of a sudden, here we are with all this beautiful information. And what do you do with it? You get to take it and run with it. And guess what? Now we're alien hunters as well.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like who knows what, like these pilots that go from coast to coast and how many flights they've had during the day or weeks or months or whatever. I mean, can you imagine just like flying a plane and you look over and you see something flying big and silver? You're kind of like, what is that? I mean,
Yeah, and I know Joe's kind of cutting out a little bit right there, but a lot of times they'll try to dismiss them as flares. And if you see any which way of which flares work, or even the shellings that they would so-called practice, none of it followed what those Phoenix lights did. And those Phoenix lights were one of the most um, influential parts, I feel, of alien culture, especially here in the United States, because that was so widespread. It made national news. It made global news. I mean, it's a whole thing, and you just don't know what's out there.
well, yeah, just like on the episode of Ghost Adventures, your boy Zach Bagans
I like how we bring it up at least once every
with the
episode.
Greys. Such a terrible episode. It was really awful. Where this guy claims he took a samurai sword and like cut up like two or three of them or whatever it was. You remember that? He like killed them or something, or
And
or
see,
I
like,
can't remember how the episode goes.
it's something like that because there was actually a store that I was working at within the last couple of years or so, and I actually had some. I've had two people. I've had two alien stories come out of that store. The first one was we were talking paranormal, so of course I handed her our team card, like, "Hey, if you need anything, let me know." And she goes, "Yeah, you know, I escaped Alien once too because they hit the wrong button and they ejected me, and I got away instead."
Yeah.
And I just kind of looked at her and I'm like, okay, yeah, you know, you have a good day. And then I had another guy come in and he's like, oh, you know, do you want to see my kids? And I'm like, oh, yeah, sure. I love children, you know, whatever. And he pulls up these videos on YouTube of like these megahertz sounds and these really weird, trippy pictures. And he's like, oh, yeah, this is Samantha or whoever the hell it was. And, you know, she's such and such age. You know, here are her 5 legs. And I'm just staring at this man. And I I don't even know. You leave that man out of here, Anna. Thank you though. Leave me alone. Bagel bites are delicious and so is he. Don't start with me.
uh,
For
so
anyone
this
in the comments, my buddy just posted Zach Bagel Bites instead of Zach Bagans.
is an actual joke.
I just like looking at him.
Well, when my wife and I we went to an Octagon Mansion in Virginia and to help out with Mandy at one location, and they were talking about Zach Bagans because he did that location, and they were like, I was like, so how was he? Like, is he cool? And he's like, well, let's just say he's a good actor. So
Yeah, I
basically,
heard
he's
he's
like
kind of strange.
I could believe that. Again, living in
he.
a house with all those artifacts,
Yeah, I heard he's kind
Well,
of. I heard he's kind of like a strange person.
well, let's just say he's a mama's boy, a big time mama's boy.
I gotta type.
I think it was hilarious. But anyway, sorry for cutting in.
Back to aliens.
No,
Like you just it's it's such a strange thing because like you hear all these different stories about so-called abductions and your first initial reaction is you're a crazy person, you're insane, but then like when things like this get released, are they crazy? There was one this guy, it was a officer, I think it was a police officer, and she said that she was there and then she was gone. Something had happened, and there was this big flash of light, and all of a sudden she wasn't there anymore. And there was no storms in the area, no lightning factors, but they actually did show um, her medical records, and it did show that she had received flash burns and things. So, what happened? You don't know if people are crazy or not or anything.
well, everybody's crazy. I mean, come on, you're crazy at some point. I mean, you're kind of like, what? It's like you're going through life or whatever, and you don't really notice anything. It's the same with spirits and everything else, like the paranormal, and you just never take notice of it. Only the hardcore people, like paranormal investigators or whatever, really notice it unless, like I said, unless it flies over your backyard and you're just like, what is that? You know what I mean? It's really strange. Then you got the Roswell incident and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that's another one.
What is the
that's another one.
Roswell
Yeah,
incident?
that is where the Roswell incident, I believe, is where an alien spacecraft ended up crashing and they pulled out these aliens. You know what I mean? They pulled
Yeah,
out
Oh,
these
yeah.
okay.
aliens and took them to Area 51. Yeah, Area 51. And supposedly they have supposedly they have like spaceships and stuff at Area 51, which is
You're telling me
pretty
they don't?
strange.
They have to have something in there.
Who knows? I know you're not allowed in there though. No.
Area
Okay.
51.
Yeah. Well, that was
Hey,
like
we
who
got
was they
a
had that Facebook page? There's a whole Facebook group, and I actually joined it just because I thought it was hilarious. And it was Storm Area 51. I didn't think I
Oh,
was going to show up to it. And there's like a whole bunch of videos and TikToks and just all kinds of crazy stuff of these people dressed as aliens in the middle of the desert at Area 51. And they like Naruto run up to the fence. And I'm like, you guys are going to get shot. You can't do that. But
yeah, that was such a joke of an event, and they
oh,
just
I
like
went to it. I watched the whole thing. It was great. I love the
everybody
internet.
just stood there and was like, okay, you guys are like a joke, but okay.
Hey, they got more cojones than most people. They wouldn't have shown up.
Well, I
Yeah,
seen a
I don't see
TikTok.
me trying. I don't see me
Oh,
trying to run at Area 51. I might end up getting shot. Just saying.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like,
'Cause-
that's some cojones to run up on Area 51 like that. And
yeah,
I'm going to have to
yeah.
check it out. You said missing 411. It covers people from different walks of life, ex military and hunters who have been abducted and were never seen again. Very interesting considering the degree that these people were familiar with their surroundings. I know what I'm watching
Yeah.
later.
that sounds like something like from like Bigfoot series and the Skinwalkers, or like what's that mythical creature that's supposed to be like Southern Ohio that you like so much,
Oh,
Sid?
Oh, Wendigos.
Yes, that's it.
Wendigos
That's
and
but you got
Skinwalkers go a
Mothman
little bit
too.
closer. Mothman, yes.
Moth. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mothman
Mothman.
is right on the state line with West Virginia. I forgot what town it is, but they have
Yeah.
like a celebration each year, and they even have like a museum of it.
Yeah, my brother and my sister-in-law just went not that long ago.
I mean, that'd be cool to see
Yeah,
too.
that's like a money grabbing thing. I don't know how many people's actually seen the Mothman or not, but that'd be cool though to see some gigantic creature that you don't know where this thing came from. I mean, you look first. I would guess if you've seen it, you'd be like, that has to come from outer space.
I do have stories about something very similar to that. Cryptids and aliens. I feel like. Do you feel that there is honestly a difference between cryptids and aliens? I feel like aliens are more the extraterrestrial coming from somewhere not here, and cryptids were kind of bored raised, and they're just our typical brand of weird here. That's kind
Uh,
of aliens from a different um, planet. I mean, planet or solar system, wherever it may be, just not from Earth. Cryptids are just God's mistake on Earth.
yeah, it's like mythological with cryptids, and then like aliens are like a different kind of category, I
Yeah.
guess. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I've got
agree.
weird stories
I
about
mean,
things that go bump in the night with cryptids and
I mean,
whatnot. But
didn't they find like other planets like recently, like
we
beyond
just
the
got our
solar
first
system?
picture of a black hole. Yeah, there's our first picture of
Yeah.
a black hole we just got. I
I
mean,
mean, maybe they're like going on vacation and like, hey, let's go to planet Earth. We always wanted to go there.
and they
You know what I
get
mean?
here
It's
and they
like going to
realize what a
Hawaii
shit
or
show it
Florida.
is. Absolute garb. That's probably why we haven't seen them, because they're like, nah, this is like a good Sims game and they are screwing it up royally. Let's just watch for right now, because that's what I would do if I was an alien.
I think I still 100% believe that like South Park episode where Earth is just a TV show to aliens, and I still believe that theory.
We're just a reality show, like a bad Jersey Shore, but it just gets worse and worse.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you remember the night? I don't know if you guys seen that movie with Roddy Piper in it, where They Live.
I don't watch a lot of
It's
movies.
where he puts these sunglasses. You have to watch it,
Oops.
but I haven't seen it, and I don't know how long it's
Oops.
been, but
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's not weird at all.
but anyways, he walks around the city,
Thank
and
you.
he puts these sunglasses on, and he can
Oh,
actually see the aliens like
unblock Anna
through
because
through
she's
these
fine.
sunglasses.
Oops. My bad.
They're probably like, "What? What did I do?" No, just the weirdo that
Yeah.
yeah.
Um. She's unblocked, actually. Yeah.
Whoops, me, man.
I'm so sorry for our person that's communicating with us.
So, yeah.
I'm
So,
used to
geez,
it. It's
imagine
fine.
being alien and witnessing the pandemic. Eek.
It's like these people are so stupid, and it just
Yeah, we
Yeah,
got
but
that saying around here.
my question is, it's like the paranormal field. It started like during the pandemic. To it started going up. Like the energy was more prominent than it. I as long as I've been doing has than it has ever been. Like but during the pandemic, I was like, I'm not going to be doing nothing until this is over. I was like, I don't know how long, but within a week or so, I had people calling me.
people
So
were staying at home and noticing more things.
yeah, yeah, right. So my question is like, did that actually heighten sensitivity of things from outer space, or also I don't know. I mean,
It
nobody
could be
was
anything.
outside at the time.
Say everything kind of returned to normal. Well, I don't want to say normal, but everything went peaceful for a little bit, and then here we are back on our bullshit. So, I mean,
I know.
you just you don't know what's out there. I mean, what if all these like upticks in uh, violence toward flight personnel and just in general, the what they call Karens and Chads or whatever, maybe those are aliens trying to liven things up a little bit. You don't know.
So you're saying that
And that
government's aliens?
Yeah, Illuminati aliens.
maybe.
I think the
Wow.
Illuminati are aliens. Oh yeah. Oh,
Well,
there's a whole bunch.
that brings back to the movie They Live, is where you could look at a human, but you put these sunglasses on and you see an alien. So
Oh, okay,
it's like they're
gotcha.
like in disguise. Yes, that's what
Yeah.
the movie's about. And Roddy Piper walks around and sees all these aliens and stuff. They'll look at him, and then he can see the alien in him, but he'll take the sunglasses off. He just sees a human.
It sounds like Men in
So
Black
my
kind of
question
thing.
is, could that actually happen? Like they're
I'm
like disguised as humans.
anything could happen, I feel. Anything is a
And
possibility.
yeah, anything can happen. Yeah, yeah,
Well, there's
I agree.
sunglasses to see people's auras now.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, Ghost Augustine, the ghost hunting shop.com or whatever it's called, where we get most of our equipment at. They send me like newsletters for like equipment and stuff and deals. And they got like this sunglasses that you can see people's auras for like $50. I was
Um
I was tempted to buy
maybe.
one to see.
And
I feel like it depends on the person too. It's always a weird
I,
I don't know.
I wonder if they have equipment to hunt aliens. Like, I know they got telescopes, they got all kinds of different stuff, like high definition cameras, whatever. I mean, it's like, so is there like some sort of thing to, like, you have a device where you look at your device and like, oh, there's something in the air. Look, the energy is different now or something. I don't know.
I don't know because, like, even with the phone apps, when it comes to ghost hunting, I really don't trust anything other than my voice recorder and my camera. Like, they have supposed apps where you can go and log in and it should work, but I don't trust my phone that much. If it's not meant for that hunting, I don't trust it.
Yeah.
I
We'll
agree.
do a show with equipment and talk about equipment. And yeah, and phone apps are usually for entertainment purposes only and not for hunting spirits and other things.
There's a
Yeah,
reason that
I
actual
agree.
ghost hunting equipment is through the roof when it comes to money and not a free app on your phone.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, I had a couple kids try to pull that on me, and
Well,
I'm like,
you should like we're trying to like make our own stuff. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like REM pods and stuff. I don't know. We might try to look into a what is that 3D printer.
A 3D printer?
3D
Yeah.
printer can make equipment.
Virtually anything. And those are pretty cool, but they
Anything.
take forever.
I said we have a 3D printer.
There you go. You can make your own stuff. I don't know how you can actually look up online on how to find the dimensions and stuff like that because I don't have a 3D printer. If I had a
Yeah, that
3D
part's
printer, I'd be
easy.
making my own crap.
Yeah. No, I want to get Attic Junkie Paranormal has a ink box, and the Ghost Sisters let us play with it the one time, and boy, oh boy, do I want one. That thing's so cool.
Oh,
Ooh,
wait, yeah, I seen their profile picture, their profile on Facebook, and they have pretty cool stuff. I think it's only like two people building the equipment, so it's gonna be a while to get your equipment.
I would rather wait for perfection than nothing at all.
Well, it's not just
Yeah.
perfection; it's more like they're backed up with a lot of orders, a lot.
Some cool stuff,
Yeah.
man.
I get my IR lights from Deadlight. He's got like his own 3D printer thing going on. He's got his own business like IR lights or uh random lights.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
you can actually buy, and if you end up breaking it or something like that, you send it back to him. And he freaking sends it back to your house. Yeah,
Huh.
So going back
but
to your question, if there's alien hunting equipment, I googled it, and there is literally nothing in there. so
Your eyeballs in a telescope, but
So that field is open for equipment if you're wanting to make something for it. So
I don't know how you would make equipment to for that. I mean, it's like I don't know,
yeah, I went to the
but
shop page and there's nothing there. so
yeah,
very carefully.
I mean, you could possibly make something up and make all kinds of money, and
If it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well, I made money.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it wouldn't work. I mean, but how many times are you going to run across an alien?
exactly.
I never have. At least I don't
Hey,
think I have.
I kind of wanna. I wanna try to. Because we had a
Oh,
lot of going back to my stinking grandma's house, man. We had experiences out there too, and it was the weirdest. My mom still will talk about it to this day and get goosebumps. But she was up in the exact same room that I was staying in, and at one point there was just this bright green light, and it went very slowly across down the whole road, and it just made this weird whirring sound. It was like a fade in, fade out, fade in, fade out. Looked outside, there was not a single thing. And like around that area too, we've been outside looking, and it could be weather balloons, it could be a satellite, but there are just some things that don't move quite right that I've seen. And again, my
mm,
own biggest skeptic. I will tear apart my own stuff before anyone else can, but I you can't figure it out. You can look up the satellite positions, you can look up those weather balloon positions, and if they don't match, then what the hell is it? What is
yeah,
it?
just like the show Paranormal Caught on Camera, it's like 50% ghost and other percent aliens, and you see like triangle figure lights and other weird motion lights, and it's like in broad daylight even it's like I don't even know if this is actually real.
You don't
that's
know. That's
CGI.
the thing.
Yeah, most of that's like CGI, where somebody's just trying to
The
get like 15
reenactments.
minutes of fame. Yeah, like 15 minutes of fame, like some mythological being like sitting on top of a traffic light or something like that, and you're just kind of like, come on, man. I
Yeah, it's
mean,
that's why you got to watch. That's
yeah,
why that fact and fake thing was so cool, that show, because I mean, they would go through and look at the frame rate and see if they splice the video. I mean, those are the things you can look
yeah,
for. Those are the things you have to be skeptical of, because like even if you're sharing something on Facebook, like a news article, look it up, please. Make sure you try to debunk it. Make sure you cross reference. If you're not cross referencing with at least three different sources, I don't believe it. Like I said, very
I
skeptical of
agree.
myself. Yeah, you have to be. It's the internet. Anything can be said, anything can be made. They've got deep fake
Yeah,
videos of people, masking with faces. I mean, they made a President Zelensky one where he was saying to put down the arms, and President Zelensky was like, "I'm not doing that. That was fake." And I mean, you can tell those kinds of things, but unless you're looking for it, you don't know.
yeah. I mean, I think what it is like you just go out with a regular camera and whatever else, and you try to document whatever. Like, see something coming down the street, like you said, that doesn't look right. You document it. You try to figure out where did it come from. Did it come from outer space? Is it from our government? Is it from what? Or somebody spying on us? I don't know.
And that's the fun thing, is that it's really, the world is too strange, and too many strange things have happened for you to just immediately dismiss some things. My mother-in-law's house, I've had some crazy experiences out there with I don't even know, but it was weird because what I had picked up, and then another psychic medium had actually messaged me and confirmed it, cross-referencing wise. And I mean, you don't know what's out there. It could be anything. That's why it's paranormal investigators, because anything outside the realm of normal scientific understanding is what we're into.
Yeah, and you kind of wonder if they pick certain people. I mean,
Absolutely.
like
Oh yeah.
like paranormal investigating. You go in there, you ghost hunt or whatever, and as you're in this building or a house or something like that, if a spirit or something like that seems to attach to you for some reason, and they follow you home. My question is, let's say they come out and they're like, well, let's go find a human. I don't know if that actually happens or not, but do they actually come down and it's like, well, that would be a good candidate right there. You know what I mean? And people claim that they have actually like been in a spaceship and they were being dissected or whatnot. And then the next thing you know, they're like laying in bed and they're like, what happened?
The
And then
woman
they
I
got like
talked to,
scars on them and stuff like that from, they're like, what is that?
yeah, she was fully convinced. She's like, the only reason I was able to escape is when they started the dissection, they hit the wrong button and I left. I just looked at her. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, please get out of my store. But like, you, that's possible. Nothing's out of the realm of possibility anymore, I feel. I mean, there's too many wild and wacky things. I mean, My Chemical Romance just released new music yesterday. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. It's just, I always bring it up to my roommates. I'm like, this is the weirdest timeline I've ever thought about living in. Like, what is even happening? Something new every single day.
Yeah, it's always something new. I mean, like I said, it's who knows what we're going to run across day to day. I mean, like I said, you can actually walk down the street and you see a person, and then I'm not going to go that far to say they're not actual humans or anything, but you just never know. I mean, of course they're humans, but there's
Are
a
they?
reason why the there's a reason why these beings come to Earth. I don't know. The more and more they put out pictures and document this stuff, and more you're like, wow.
The more they
I
declassify
mean,
official documents.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's why we do what we do. We're paranormal investigators, and so you know, we go in there and hunt for things that normal people would not see or hear or anything like that.
Oh, it makes sense.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing to do is to make other people believe that there's ghosts and then there's aliens and then you're just that one person that just seen it, you know.
I
Like
that's
the
why.
old people,
Go
like the
ahead.
old people, they said, "Oh, there's no such thing as ghosts. There's no such thing as ghosts. There's no such thing as UFOs." And now, like, now there's so many different investigators now doing stuff like this, ghost hunting. Of course, you got the UFO hunters and stuff like that out there, and Sasquatch hunters and stuff like that out there. I mean, it's like I see more UFOs than I had Sasquatch. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't know.
It is. It's
I'm
such
more in
a.
line to, yeah, I'm more in line to seeing UFOs than I am a Sasquatch. I mean, that's just me.
See, we actually had a teacher growing up in high school, and if you ever wanted to not do math, you would just say Bigfoot doesn't exist, and he would stop everything and go on a 40-minute long lesson plan on Bigfoot, and then he sent us home with homework on Bigfoot. And I mean, you've got people that will die on this hill for those cryptids. Like what I dealt with the one day at my mother-in-law's house, I don't know what the hell it was. I think I know what it was, and I think I know the lay of the land well enough to understand what I think it was. But I mean, it still gives me the heebie-jeebies thinking back on that night. I just told the story recently to my roommates, and I'm like, I don't know. There's something on that land that's just not supposed to be there.
Yeah. I mean, you just never know. I don't know. It's one of those kind of confusing things. Like, we investigate like spirits and ghosts or whatever they're supposed to be, and I mean, when we go into places like this, are they actually what we are searching for? We don't really know.
It makes it like I want to say it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. There's just so much out there. It's and like I said, like I've dealt with a whole lot, but then to hear these people, especially I keep going back to the military people, but to hear those Air Force pilots terrified of whatever they saw, what did they see? I would love to have been a fly on the wall on that fighter jet just to see what they saw because I mean, they go for or officials have gone through actual requests. What were you doing this night? You know, what was it? Can you please investigate into it? And they simply said it was a flare exercise, it was a training exercise, and that was it. That was all they could glean. John McCain actually reached out and tried to get the answer, and he got the exact same answer. And as an elected official, that was as far as he could go. That was as far as any of them could push. And after that, it was done. And then they sealed it up, and then they just released all the information this past year. So, I mean, it's crazy timeline. This was
Yeah,
not on my 2022 bingo to have aliens confirmed. But here we are.
yeah. Now they're saying that there could be alien life in the clouds of Venus.
Oh, absolutely. I could 100% believe it. To
So
think that we are the only sentient living things in this, not only on this planet, but like in this galaxy, in the whole expanse of the universe, is the dumbest thing you could probably say. We cannot be that self centered to think that we are the only sentient beings alive anywhere.
yeah, it says in September Venus became the most popular planet on Earth when scientists discovered possible traces of molecule phosphine in the
Yeah.
planet's atmosphere. On Earth, phosphine made from phosphorus atom and three hydrogen atoms is mostly associated with non-oxygen breathing bacteria as well as some human activities. The molecule is produced naturally by gas giants, but there's no reason why it should be on the hot and hellish world of Venus. The researchers concluded, unless perhaps there is some sort of life breathing breathing it into the planet's mysterious clouds. Hmm.
Hmm.
There's just too much unknown. I genuinely believe that there's
So
something at the bottom of the ocean too. Like, what a good place to hide, someplace that none of us can get to.
Well, there's
Yeah,
about
my
like
question.
75% of the ocean we haven't found yet.
Almost 80, I think, because we literally just had this conversation on the front porch. We've got a like a this is our hangout spot, and we just talk about random things. But we had a whole ocean theory, and we're like, what does lay at the bottom? We don't know what's at the bottom of the Mariana Trench. More than 80% of the ocean remains unexplored. We only know about 7% of the world's oceans.
Yeah.
7%. And that's on our own
Yeah,
planet. We have access to it. It's right there. We can touch it, but we can't go down there. If we can't figure that out about our own planet, what else? That's what I keep saying. Like it's like an onion, but a massive onion. It just has layers upon layers upon layers, and it doesn't stop. Like we don't know. So much fun. So much fun to look at it like that.
yeah, I
So
agree.
basically, the Loch Ness monster could be real. The giant squid could be real. Who else knows what
Do you
other
know what?
cryptids could be
Hold on,
real?
hold on, hold on. Not even just this is confirmed. Okay, so there was a 60-foot tentacle found on a giant squid. That's not a squid. That's a kraken. That thing is huge. There's a possibility that megalodons are still real because that ocean's so dang deep. They actually caught a shark on satellite way out again in space. It was 90 feet. The shark was 90 feet long. What
What?
else is out there? Like you, it's so crazy to think about. Now, see, now I'm getting all kinds of antsy, but like the ocean freaks me out because if a 60-foot tentacle, that is a long reach. That's 10 of me on top of each other, standing on top. That thing's huge. You couldn't pay me enough to go in the ocean. There is no way. You don't know what's out there. The megalodons could still be out there. You've got these weird little crabs that are in shallow land. So imagine how big and scary they are at the bottom of the ocean. And then you take the ocean that, again, we don't know. It's on our planet. We have no access to it. And then you zoom out and realize that we're just a tiny little dust speck in this huge expansive universe. What do you
Yeah,
even do
what's
with
that?
that information?
What? So that kind of brings me to the question: is what is Slender Man?
I actually
Oh yeah.
all right.
Slender Man is a 2011 internet sensation made up story, and then
So actually, what it
same
is,
with
it's
same with
a
Siren Head.
yeah. So Siren Head, Slender Man, Eyeless Jack, Jeff the Killer, Maskey, all these different things. They all originate off creepypasta, and a lot of times creepypasta will actually have quote unquote true stories. It was like a creepy Reddit type style website. But a lot of times they are stories. But going to the Slenderman case, that was based in a lot of, I feel a lot of like Hat Man, or it's this big, tall man, about 9 feet, no face, long limbs. And supposedly, what you would be done is you'd be chosen as proxy. And Maskey was a proxy, Hoodie was a proxy, Tiki Toby. I mean, if we want to go into creepypasta, I got you, because I went through a whole phase on Tumblr, and I mean, it's a whole thing. But I feel he's more of a more recent legend or cryptid, but I mean, if people believe in it enough and they manifest those things enough, you don't know what's out there. There are those girls that stabbed their best friend almost to death trying to summon Slenderman, and I mean, you don't know what kind of quote unquote ritual they may have done. You don't know what they could have summoned. You could have summoned a demon that's going to take that shape of you. You don't know what's out there. And I mean, things that mark high violence, things that mark put those kinds of scars on land, on, whatever. If someone is expecting that thing to be there and they do things to try to get it there, there's a good chance it could manifest in one way or another. Maybe not the
Sure,
exact thing, but I mean, you don't know. That's why Gore
sure.
Orphanage is so interesting too, because people have tried summoning things there, and it's confirmed that no children died in that fire, but there's still stuff out there just because of other people bringing things in. That kind of goes back to attachments and everything.
Yeah,
so
and you kind of look at it like, okay, it's like, well, I've seen Slender Man, like it's like I got a picture of Slender Man or whatever. I mean, if the picture's not fake, how do you know it's not alien?
Exactly. You
You know what I
don't
mean?
know.
Exactly. Yeah. So you're kind of like, I was like, oh, that's Slender Man. Like, mm,
Kids,
it's
I
like,
mean,
sure, it's not something else.
if I was an alien and I saw these like that gives you a whole gateway of things you could do. Those little girls, I mean, attacked their best friend and ran away in the woods together thinking that they were going to find Slender Man. Like, with that kind of violence and with that kind of emotional toll, what's to say something wasn't attracted to that and something did show themselves or whatever it may be? But I mean, you don't know. That seems to be the catchphrase today is you genuinely don't know. You have no idea.
Well, and that's the same. That we're going on the same path of uh, manifestation. Like,
Yep.
uh, you got the spirits can manifest into a human or something like that, and then it's like, can aliens just appear and disappear? I mean, just like the movie, oh, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, with the we got that being that goes invisible, and then he comes back to life and he's trying to kill Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't remember. Damn,
It's gonna say
can't
it's
think of
not
the name.
Terminator.
No,
Sam,
it's
no help
not
with that.
Terminator, but I can't think of it. It was very popular where the alien looks like he has dreadlocks and he's got the
Alien versus
silver
Predator.
face. Predator. There you go,
Yep.
Predator.
Oh,
That's what
he's in
I'm
that
talking
movie.
about.
He's attractive.
Yeah.
So you kind of like you kind of look at it like, that's possible. I mean, you can make yourself invisible, and then you tell a certain person is like, I need you to go do this, and then when the time comes, you know, to stay out of trouble, they just like stay invisible. Like, I ain't got nothing to do with it.
It's like the Helios on Halo. My husband's a huge Halo fan, and I'm constantly like, if aliens exist, maybe there's like Helios and Kigiar and stuff somewhere. And he's like, "Don't say that. I'm getting excited." And I'm like, "I'm getting excited. What are you talking about?" Like, you really don't know. It's like how so many people have depicted dragons in art, and it's not just in one place. It's been in multiple places of these giant flying serpents. How did so many people know when the internet wasn't a thing? How could they communicate that back and forth and all still have a very similar imagery as to what these dragons looked like?
Yeah, I mean,
You don't know.
because well, like back in the day, I'm sure there wasn't no flying dragons or something like that back in the day, but it's just what people, you know,
Interpret.
they want they want some sort of, yeah, they want something to, it's like, let's put wings on this dragon and actually have it flying around, just like your Harry Potter movies, which I've never seen, but you know what I mean. But
Some good stuff.
I
If
don't
you
know if
want
there's
to,
flying dragons in that movie because I've never seen it.
there are.
Yeah, I mean, so you kind of watch it and be like, and then you got people going, "Oh, that's possible." I mean, I'm sure back in the day it's not possible, but I'm sure like the ancient people and stuff like that seen something that is unexplainable,
Well, there was a whole
and they
show
try
called
to mark
Ancient
it
Aliens,
as,
too. Yeah. The Ancient
you know
Aliens
what I
would for
mean?
sure be another thing off that.
Yeah, but apparently their intelligence is way beyond what we can do
Well, I
as
feel
of
like
right now.
a lot of humans are just stupid. I feel there's genuinely just some humans that I would want to stay away from too if I was an alien. If I'm going to be honest, I wouldn't want to come down here seeing all this
Well,
stuff right now.
well, we may not have the access to stuff like that what they have. I mean, like this stuff they make spaceships out of. Who knows what they make it out of? I mean, where do they get this material from? I mean, you see UFOs, like I seen a silver flying object, look metal. Okay, where did you get it from? I mean, get it from Jeff Bezos? I mean, I don't
Probably. Elon Musk, Amazon Prime's it.
Elon Musk. You never know. Yeah, yeah. So you're kind of like, so is there another planet with that kind of material on it where you can actually produce this
Which
kind of
would
stuff
mean, in
to actually?
theory, that
Yeah,
there are full-blown civilizations smart enough and processed enough and far along enough where they are able to do these kinds of things. And I think that's what freaks people out, is knowing that we're probably not the smartest things out there.
we're probably not. We're probably not. And you kind of wonder, like, do they have a planet where everybody pretty much just coincides like we do on Earth? You know what I mean? It's like, well, okay, we're gonna, they tell them we're gonna go out and we're gonna go to Earth and we're gonna. It's like, do they have their own army? Do they have? Who knows?
We
I
don't
mean,
know. That's the best
you know,
part.
so and it's pretty cool that the government finally came out and said, "Oh yeah, there's such thing as UFOs." So
Yeah,
you're
we
kind of, eh,
we don't quite know what they are, but here's all the information that we're able to declassify at the moment. And just to pour over all those documents and read, it gives you the heebie-jeebies a little bit, but you're like, I knew it. I knew it. Because all my life I was like, there's for sure aliens. 100%. Couldn't tell me otherwise.
yeah. And then you kind of wonder, like, how many times do they got to come to Earth and actually try to dissect a human? Because I think a lot of the claims that people have are fictional, kind of like, you know what I mean, like they're just telling a story.
Again, it goes
But
back and forth to what my issue always is something happening, or am I mentally ill, or is there something else, causing these kinds of things? There's three ways to go about it, and again, you don't know.
yeah, so you could think, it's like you could come up with all kinds of scenarios and whatnot, but I mean, you're probably not wrong. And then you're probably not right. So you know
Exactly.
what I
Like, we
mean.
could be so
So
far off, it's not even funny. That's all we can do is
sure,
speculate.
sure. I mean, I'm sure they got it way better equipment than what we got.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, imagine. We're still working on hovering technologies and being that quiet. So, I mean, I would just to sit down and have an interview with someone like that, which again would probably never happen, but you don't know.
No.
Well, we're gonna
Yeah.
probably find one tonight. You watch.
I hear I'm going up in the attic by myself. So
Once we get our tour done, I think if Joe's right, we're gonna go up to. Well, he's been there plenty of times, but Joe's right about the attic and the basement. That's where you and I are gonna be heading.
good stuff, man. I'll make sure everything's charged up, ready to go.
Yeah, I gotta get that charged up after this is over with. So,
So with that being said, tonight we're going live at the Gill House out in Galleon. We should be there starting like what, 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock,
6 o'clock. We're there till 2 a.m.
2 a.m.
Good stuff.
To
Yeah, we should see what happens. Which means then we go take a nap.
yeah,
Or go
but
energy drink, maybe.
I'm gonna have to watch you guys tonight.
Yeah, I'll say, well, if I'm not filming, because we're probably going to end up splitting up a couple times, but it'll either be on Corpse, of course, or it'll be on Readings by Sydney. I'll probably be live streaming from there as well. So, one way or another, you're going to be able to see it.
Yes, and it's gonna be a good time. It's been a while since we've been out because
Yeah,
winter time and the pandemic and whatever else.
all of us being sick and things just happening. So, I'm excited. The season's here. It's nice and warm. We've got my planner is so full of gel ink right now that it's not even funny. I just got more and more stuff happening. So, I mean, good things are coming. We'll just see what happens and go from there. We're getting
Yeah,
busy.
you go up to the attic. You can see the slots. You go along the walls. You can see the slots in the floor where Bloomer actually hid his booze. He had put
Oh,
his
we're,
bottles in
Bro,
there.
we're dealing with an
Yes,
alcoholic then.
yes. He
Good
drank
to know.
himself blind.
Good to
And then
know.
when you go there, ask about the picture with Henry Ford in it.
Okay.
Henry Ford actually it's in the dining room. You can actually see it when you walk in the dining room. You can actually it's along the wall there because the dining room's like a oval shaped room, and it has the actual uh what do you want to call it? The lights, the neon lights from back I don't know how long ago, but they don't work, of course. But they're talking about taking those down and put those LED strip lights around it. So when you turn the lights on, it looks really cool. I mean, I can imagine you can't imagine what it looks like back in the old days. Like you turn that on, and it's like the dining room's like so elaborate and all kinds of stuff from the Talbots or the Gills or something like that. Because when the Hesse's was the last family to actually live there. So apparently, he painted all over this beautiful wood that's in this house. Wait till you see this wood that's in this house. It's just freaking amazing.
I'm excited.
But
Well, yeah, that's tonight at 6. Any openings for your readings for anybody that's curious?
Yeah, so I'm actually doing a couple of them on Sunday this weekend. I'm probably going to be posting to the different Facebook pages whenever I have open books. Um, Typically meet at coffee shops, but we're working on some other things here. We've got some behind the behind the scenes stuff. I can't talk. Behind the scenes style stuff that's happening, and hopefully we'll get some really good news here soon. But yeah, just send good vibes, good whatever you got. I don't care if it is alien stuff. I don't care if it's Slenderman. Send whatever good stuff you got to me, and we'll go from there.
All right. So if you want to be a supporter of the podcast, go to patreon.com/hunting the haunted podcast. And you can find us on any other podcast platforms such as iHeartRadio, uh, Spotify, Amazon Music, so on. So we're available for everybody to listen. And I think that's it, unless you have one thing to say before we go off.
Not high.
nope.
All right, then. We'll see you guys tonight. Hope you guys all watch.
That's it. We'll be there.